what brought us here and where we think we'll go from here.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about why we decided to do this. So especially now, it's like a little bit harder to find motivation to keep practicing and keep performing, since there's no like outside performances at like temples and everywhere that we used to perform. So to kind of bring up the motivation and encourage young artists like all of us here to continue pursuing our passions and sharing our talents with everyone, which we can do through this series. And as they previously touched upon, also like the music aspect, it's been really interesting to learn a lot more about that, and also about Carnatic music. And then also, we really wanted to celebrate like the differences and the common threads between our dances, because even in our world, there's so much like division between cultures and all of that. Like there's so much hatred and negativity and all of that. So we really wanted to find a way to celebrate diversity. And as dancers, we all know that there's so much beauty and diversity between all of our dances. And so we wanted to celebrate that as well, and increase cultural tolerance and acceptance and all of that among like youth dancers. And then we're right now starting with Indian dances, but we do hope to expand to like all of the dances of the world, like worldwide cultures, and really like explore the similarities between our Indian dances and other cultures from around the world as well. And also it's a great opportunity to connect with other artists and encourage collaborations between us. So
we are all evolving. Like this is a new format. Nobody knew, like 1 year ago, if you had asked to do a video series and share all your work, we would have said, maybe not. So, you know, we are all evolving, we are all learning, all of you are evolving, all of us are evolving. So one day we'll look back and, you know, look at this time and say, okay, we did something good in this time. I feel that if you just spend a little bit of time learning about a different culture, then they feel less intimidating or less alien or less suspicious or whatever, right? So that is also why we are trying to say, okay, let's learn a little about Odissi, or let's learn a little bit about Kuchipudi or Bharatnatyam or Kathak. Let's highlight not ways to divide, but there are so many common things, right? So let's just shift our focus. A dance that belongs to North India.
Dance from North India. And then now dance from South India.
Okay. And then East and West.
Yeah.
East. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we found one way to divide, like the region, geography. Okay.
Now, if you use Carnatic music as the basis of your dance, and then Hindustani music.
Belted Ghungru.
Belted Ghungru. Yeah, versus like the thread strung Ghungrus. Your costume for dance would be a sari, or
draped in a certain way. Sari draped.
Sari draped in a certain way.
Okay.
Or a lehenga.
Lehenga.
Or a kurta of some sort.
Or a dhoti of some sort, like a dhoti or a pant kind of thing. Okay.
If the language of your dance would be Hindi, maybe.
Have you ever danced on a Tamil lyrics, Tamil, Odia, and Telugu? Do we have compositions in Telugu? Yes. Do we have compositions in Marathi? Okay, some. So okay. If you've ever danced on a Sanskrit shloka or a Sanskrit lyrics, raise your hand. So pretty much everyone. Okay. If you've ever danced on a devotional theme, like some god or prayers or something. If you've danced on human emotion, happy, sad, angry, disgust, any human emotion to express yourself. Okay. If you use hastamudras from Natya Shastras, or you've used Naikas or Navras from Natya Shastra. So, okay. If you hear any kind of music, anything, and then you start tapping your feet and nodding your head, you understand rhythm. So,
follow the Guru Shishya Parampara.
yeah, you love dancing. So, you raise your hand, and dance feels like oxygen. So, to a lot of us, right? We are not going to hesitate to approach somebody for a collaboration.
Right there.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, huge thank you, Akka, for putting together this whole festival and curating such an amazing, yes, Niharika aunties, round of applause. But yes, thank you so much for putting this together, because it's such a nice initiative to showcase 4 different styles, to really highlight that, you know, music and dance, they really do go hand in hand. And I think that is something that as dancers, where we see very, you know, up close and personal, that our relationship with music is so, it's so important to understand the beauty of the melody and the layam, and to really internalize it and to enjoy it. It brings a whole new dimension to our dance.
I help but think back to like our experience at Grace Cathedral and meeting all of the different dancers there, because I think there were like only like a couple of other Indian classical dances, and a lot of it was like contemporary dance, even ballet, and like all different kinds of cultures from around the world. And like we talked and we discussed, and we were like, oh, these are the beats, and we could see that some were clapping and dancing, like making verbal noises, and it was just such a wonderful experience to think back to, because like all of the cultures just collaborating together, it was like a great experience for us. And I still remember, I feel like that's my favorite performance that we've done, because like we get to see everyone from different cultures, and that really meant a lot, and it was really cool.
Well, I think that this experience has been really fun, because I have never done a solo performance, so this gave me a good insight to how much more work I should put in and where I need to fix up. But I really enjoyed this experience.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I think this is a really cool opportunity, because I know like when we're at performances and competitions, we'll see another group backstage as they're coming off or going on and just like say, good luck, or you did really great. But like, that's the most conversation we have with people of all the different styles. And I think it's really nice, like sitting in front of everyone and trying to like discuss the common ground, even though we see everything from what they showcase, but the practice they put in and everything are like, just the journey itself is so similar, but we've never been able to talk about it. So I think it's really cool.
To us now.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching performances of other styles. It's really amazing how different they are, and it kind of shows how big the dance community is, and the similarities too.
Like in classical dance, it's not only one style, like Kuchipudi or Bharatanatyam. There's like a variety of styles, and I personally don't get a lot of time to see other styles in general, because I do Kuchipudi, and most of the time I just see Kuchipudi. So knowing and like seeing other styles would just get me open-minded, and there's always something that I can take in from other styles.
Yeah, I think this was just a really great performance, because it was also like another, like kind of as Anika said, it was a really great solo opportunity for me to kind of like have, and I also got to see other people perform in different dance styles, and it was just a really great opportunity in general.
But just one thing that I've noticed is that
when we go to competitions and we see other dance forms and we compare them to our own, oftentimes we come away and we feel really proud of our own dance form, or we identify with it more because we've been presented with something that is different. But in this case, when we actually go out and look at all the other dance forms more closely, and we see how we're in our very fundamental layer, we're just dancing, right? So we have that very innate connection. And so when we form that bond, we form personalized connections with all of these other dance forms as well. And so instead of just being proud of our own or proud of the unique things that we bring, we feel very, very connected to every single other dance form and every other dancer who's part of it. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of this entire series.
Something for me that this initiative helped with, like personally, is that as a South Indian, and I did a North Indian dance like my almost entire life at this point. So it's something that is kind of like confusing and conflicting growing up, because, you know, I'm familiar with a different side of the culture, but I'm dancing and participating with another, you know, side of the culture. But and you never really get to see the parallels of each dance. And growing up, you kind of like tend to see the differences more. But this initiative helps kind of see those similarities and bring them together and kind of like help myself find myself, and then you know, just see the dances, and it's just a really fun initiative, I guess.
To say that this whole organization that's going on, it's really beautiful seeing everyone come together and honor our differences and similarities. I mean, of course, there's more similarities than differences, but it's just really nice, and I want to thank everyone for being willing to cooperate with this.
Yeah, sure. So as I was growing up, I feel like I had a lot of stereotypes on like Indian classical dances. And like with this initiative, I got to know that, hey, we're actually all really similar, and like we have a lot of things in common. And also another thing that I learned through this whole online thing is like before, you know, if you perform in front of an audience, right, you just like look at the audience, but now the audience is a camera. So then like transitioning to just like figuring how everything worked like that was hard for me. But when I realized that when you look at the camera, and when I like saw my video of myself like just looking at the camera, I felt like I connected like a lot more than before when I just like looked ahead.
Okay.
I think it's really fun because in general, since I was very small, I used to learn Hindustani classical music and dance together. So I got to make many different connections. And now that I can see different music styles and different dance styles, I see that they're also very similar, even though they have so many different differences. So I think it's really fun to learn about the things that I didn't know before, and it helps me make a lot of connections. So thank you for
Okay, so I just wanted to add one thing about the collaboration with like different worldwide dances. Like my mom said, Shovna Didi did like collaborations with like tap dancing and flamenco and all of that. And I remember a story she was telling us from one of those collaborations, how they didn't speak the same language, so they didn't have any way of communicating verbally, but just they were able to like clap and like hit their feet and able to make a beautiful piece from just that. So I think, I don't know, that was just a cool story that I got reminded of. And then from this experience, I've really enjoyed like watching other dancers from other forms. And I remember specifically watching Shruti Didi's dance and a lot of the DC performances, how your expressions were so beautiful. And I was like, wow, I want to be able to express such like pure joy from just my face while I'm dancing. So I thought that was really nice to get to learn from other dance forms, something that I can use in my own. So I think that was really cool.
It doesn't need to be the same art form for you to learn something and to appreciate something and to learn about the rhythm and the music, and you don't need to understand the lyrics to know that, you know, it's beautiful and it's soulful, you know. So not everything, I suppose, needs to be understood verbally. A lot of things it's just, you know, you feel it in the moment.
But I would like to actually congratulate that you're including a lot of young performers in this, especially what Reva said. It's so valid because I think most of the adults who grew up and learned from our gurus in India have had actually a huge advantage of the Padandram and, you know, the Guru Shishya Parampara, which I think all of us who are here, I think Bhuvanaka, Niharika ma'am, Riniyappa, all of you can agree, right? I mean, we have had that advantage of growing up and watching other dance forms around us in person. And as young children growing up in the US, this is a great platform to understand the nuances of other styles. I particularly love that you included all the thoughts and the connection between the Carnatic and Hindustan, because it's something that's close to my heart. And so if you are a student of dance, I think it's a great advantage, and I don't think they will realize it now. If you are less than 15 years old, it'll take you many, many more years to realize all these lessons. It'll sink in much later. I feel that
we were exposed to so many things, and I'm so happy. I know what you're doing. It's unbelievable to see the number of kids who are, with this collaboration, I'm also, talking about this to my students, and, saying, how important it is to build these relationships and learn that, your dance is part of the ocean of so many other dances and so many different contemporary ballet, and they have to understand that it's the art and there's an ocean of it. Absolutely delighted that, you're building the network and bringing everybody together. So great initiative. Kudos to that.
I definitely wanted to say, Anupama, that this is really such a wonderful, wonderful initiative, especially even what you're doing today. Because I think when we are talking about collaboration, I having come from Toronto, collaboration was something that happened since between many dancers. Happened since, let's say, the 1980s. It's been going on from a long, long time, and partially because there is really a strong promotion of multiculturalism, which lends itself to collaboration. The whole experience of collaboration, of meeting others, of getting to know others' styles, and building friendships was something that we were able to do, and of course continue doing over the years. And I feel that for all over here, you are providing that platform for this kind of thing to happen. And hopefully once we open up, this is going to build into something that's going to come together on stage, where all these students can also get that actual chance to meet each other and dance together.
Look at the forum today, right? All these young dancers, young girls, maybe starting from 6th graders to high schoolers, right? Bringing them into the spotlight, which normally doesn't happen, right? It's only the senior dancers who get to perform. That's a great initiative that itself speaks volumes about your initiative, both Anupama and Reva. Thank you for including these next generation dancers and giving them an opportunity to voice their ideas. And I think this is something which gives an opportunity to handshake the students from other schools as well.
It's so good that you're exposing these kids to all the different dances, because I remember, apart from Bharatanatyam, because we used to have these inter-school, some dances, all kind of dances we used to do in India, Rajasthani, and I have even done a Bengali dance. So whenever she was putting that, I remember my mom grew up in Calcutta, and she used, so we have done a lot of dances, but my students are exposed to what I'm showing them. That's all.
Yeah.
Right. So to expose them to all these, this is a very beautiful initiative.
Thank you. So thank you once again for pursuing your dances so passionately. That's the best thing. I mean, that's what brings us together, and it's just so wonderful. I feel that the future of Indian classical dance is so bright, especially in the Bay Area, especially in the US. So keep doing all your practices and keep dancing. Okay. Thank you so much.